Good evening and welcome to another episode of the RunAway
Thank you.
show.
Thank you. Yeah.
It's my honor to welcome you, Dr. Anand Patil.
Thank you.
Dr. Anand Patil is, like I have said in several WhatsApp messages as well as our email, he is a doctor, a surgeon by profession. He holds 11 degrees in varied subjects. He's not just an Ironman, he's also an Ultraman. He's an 8-time finisher of Comrades. And if you include the run that he did during the lockdown, that would make it 9. And he's also an entrepreneur. He runs an organization in which helps students from rural Maharashtra to compete in competitive exams. Welcome, Dr. Patil. How are you?
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. I'm very fine.
It's very nice to see you here today. And I'm looking
Same here.
forward to chatting with you today about many, many subjects, many, many topics. But
Yeah.
first, before we get on to anything, I want to know about how did you get into running? Tell me a little bit about your running journey. What prompted you to get into running?
As such, what has happened? So, after finishing my surgery post graduation, I was a practicing surgeon, and I concentrated more on my, medical practice. And it happened that I was not able to pay proper attention to my, not exactly health, but to the fitness. So I put on a lot of weight in a span of say around about 10 years. And one of my classmates, when he saw me, I was almost 117 kg, so my weight was that
Wow.
much. So he said that in my college days, I was one of the, very active person participating in all intermedical tournaments. I did with the cricket, even kabaddi also, the swimming. I used to do that, and I was a very fit guy. And when he saw me having this type of, he did not like that my look, and he told me that you have to do something. So I joined one of the gym in Mahim, and then that year there was a Mumbai Marathon. So it happened to I prepared for the Mumbai Marathon, and I finished that Mumbai Marathon. And so then I thought, then this is one of the way which will help me to keep myself fit, because what I found. Uh, as such, even being a surgeon, so it was a type of a sedentary life, and whatever the calorie input was there, there was no burning of the calories. And you are aware that if you're not burning the calories and there is a lot of input, so all that get converted into the fat, and especially the visceral fats, the fitness fat, and all other things. So I just thought that I should do something as far as the calorie burning is considered. And then I discovered that the difference between health and fitness. So my tagline nowadays is like this: you can be healthy but not fit, and at the same time it can be fit but not the healthy. And this now let us call this as a post-pandemic corona, period, or during the corona thing. I have seen that most of my fitness doctors were not able to manage their day-to-day affairs, even though they were healthy. So I did. Then I had some exposure to the various incidences where that immunity has been, reduced because of a metabolic syndrome. So in a modern age, we are living in urban area. So there is a lot of stress, then there are a lot of deficiencies, especially you might be aware about vitamin D3 and B12, along with niacin and along with iron. So these deficiencies are causing a lot of problem. And even though you are having a healthy lifestyle, so not being healthy is sufficient. Simultaneously, you have to look after your fitness level also. And so that is why for me now I'm focusing more on the fitness side than on the health. So for me, fitness is nothing but it is a continuous process of person to perform any task in day-to-day life with available resources in a given time frame without getting tired, and at the same time you should enjoy that whole thing. So most
But
of the
you,
times I've seen that only, yeah.
no, please go ahead.
So only the health, yeah. So health parameters. See, in what I was talking to you about the metabolic syndrome. So meaning I have seen that in Mumbai also, for that matter, any other city or all over the world also, wherever I have participated in marathons or the any sport event or even our medical conferences, I have seen that everybody, almost those who are in higher middle class or the lower middle class, so everybody is having suffering from the metabolic syndrome. And if you want to reverse that metabolic syndrome, you need to be fit. So your lifestyle towards fitness is more important than anything else. Now, this what is that metabolic syndrome? Everybody might be aware about that, but I would like to bring certain things. So, if anybody is suffering from two elements of the given five elements, so one is weight. If you are overweight, that is one thing. Second, your what we call the LDL, the triglyceride level, blood serology, that triglyceride level is more. Then your sugar level is more. Then what we call as a, you are not getting proper sleep, that insomnia. Then you are having a lot of the stress. Then at the same time you are on certain supplements, and you are having what we call as a fat diet, any fat diet, for that matter, junk food or the fast food. Uh, that all, any of these two, out of these, any of the two, if anybody is having, so then that particular person is suffering from the metabolic syndrome. And to reverse from that metabolic syndrome, that fitness lifestyle based on the fitness usually helps you. And Gauri, I want to bring to your notice also over here, uh, because of you only, or the your company, the awareness has been generated a lot as far as doing those world majors. And I have seen that in your group, because I am also part of your company, and I have done that Chicago marathon with you, and your the assistance, and then everything was wonderful. And then when I came in contact with, because I done Boston also, that time also I happened to be with you guys. So when I saw or they interacted with your participants at New York, even at Chicago, even at Berlin also. So what I found, most of them, in if you do the define the athletic body, so nobody was having the athletic body. So everybody was having each or either element of the metabolic syndrome, but again they were able to finish those major marathons only because of they were having what you can call the certain element of the fitness, not holistic approach, but there are the certain parameters of the fitness. Five of those parameters, again, there are the five parameters of the fitness which I practice. One is stamina, second is endurance, third is the strength, power, and the speed. Suppose somebody is again conversed with or the practicing either three of these also, that person can be on the path of the fitness or the fit lifestyle. So might be I just want to put in the words like this. Fitness is nowadays more important than the health parameters, because if somebody is suffering from any type of disease or any pathological part, so we had a certain access to diagnose it. But to measure or the calibrate the fitness has not been that much possible at present for the common man. No doubt for the athletes. So there is a yo-yo test, and there are other tests are there, and from that we are able to
I've lost you,
measure
Anand. I can't hear you.
their fitness level. But in common man, the
Anand,
finding
I
is
can't hear you very well. I think our audience can't hear you very well.
you can say at a rudimentary level.
Anand, we can't hear you.
Hello,
Can you hear us?
can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you now. Yes, absolutely, we hear you. Okay, so we
Yeah,
were you
yeah.
basically put it together saying that your journey was that you sort of, went from being obese to feeling that you're actually not able to perform your tasks well, and you decided to run a marathon and Mumbai Marathon, and you are now just talking to us about the importance of fitness, like the importance of fitness over health. So what you're saying is that it's more important to be fit, and the parameters of health are less important than fitness. And anybody who has those parameters of fitness can actually do marathons.
Yeah. So are you able to hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Gauriji?
Yes, Dr. Patil, I can hear you.
So yeah, I was not able to get the question which you are asking. So can you repeat that?
I was just putting the whole, kind of summarizing what you just said, in terms of,
Okay.
what actually is needed to stay fit. I think you were talking about, 3 out of the 5 parameters that one needs to have in terms of strength and stamina. And so if somebody has 3 out of 5, that's considered like good enough from a fitness perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you actually, so you started with marathons, Dr. Patil, but you didn't actually stop at marathons. You decided to then go ahead and do Ironman, and then you decided to go and do Ultraman. And so now you're not just a runner, you are actually also like a triathlete and an Ultraman. And my curiosity actually also comes a little bit from your, from the kind of educational background that you have, because you hold 11 degrees, out of which most of them actually quite unrelated. You hold a degree in history, you hold a degree in anthropology, you hold a master's in Marathi literature, and of course you're a doctor. How does this all actually come together? And you've done all of this in a span of 5 years. Like in 5 years, you just gathered 11 degrees studying subjects that are completely unrelated with each other. How does all of this kind of come together? Like, what is it that holds everything together for you? What was your interest in studying things that are not related to each other at all?
Yeah. See, important thing. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Gauriji?
Yes, Patiji, I can hear you.
Yeah. So, what I feel, see, there is a one saying, what you can, in a modern age, wisdom is very important than any other thing. And what I know is there are the certain lines from one poet called as a T.S. Eliot. He was a very Englishman, and he has written almost 100 years back. He has written one poem, and that poem describes the the what you can call as a describes the situation of the youth or the society, especially the British society, which is applicable to our society at present. So what was that? So the 3 lines of that poem has always, have motivated me rather. So what are that? So the first is, it is where is the wisdom today? So it is lost in the education. So where is the education today? It is lost in the knowledge. And where is the knowledge today? It is lost in the data or the information. So now, in a WhatsApp university and in the social media, so there is a, what you call the explosion of the information. But which information is a correct, which information is useful, or which information is a good for us? So that type of organized, analysis, if we try to do, so then that information gets converted into the knowledge. And if I am able to use that knowledge to achieve my certain, you can say, the goals, then that becomes wisdom. So wisdom is nothing but achievement of a certain skills. And as I told you earlier, I was no doubt during my college days, I was fit and healthy, but because of my practice and other things and the negligence in between, say around 10 to 15 years, I have to come back on that particular track. So just I wanted to taste. Uh, I am a healthy, but how much is my fitness level? And now that fitness level, especially even you have to taste. As I told you earlier, there are no parameters for health what we are having. So I decided first to finish half marathon, then plenty of the marathons, then half triathlon, then half Ironman, then Ironman. And then I decided if I want to test my endurance level or the fitness level, I should participate in Ultraman. And then I did that Ultraman in Australia, Brisbane. And there, what has happened? Uh, there are certain, somehow you can say I'm a lot of careless person, and then many of the things I forget. And in that this Brisbane or that Australia Ultraman, I have not taken my wetsuit. And that during that period, so in the Pacific Ocean, the temperature was around 9 to 10 degrees centigrade, and I had to swim almost 10 kilometers. And I wore that wetsuit of somebody. But again, after say swimming for half an hour, it was very discomfort. So I just removed that wetsuit, and I did without wetsuit that whole 10 kilometer of swimming. And then I realized that there is a see I had that capacity. So whatever might be the adversaries. So when there is an adversary, then only the certain good things from my can come out. And so then I started, what you can call as systematically developing, the analyzing, the collecting the data, and certain, model of as such again. Then I don't get the sufficient time for the practice also because of certain responsibilities. Then my diet, I'm totally on that organic. Organic means no supplement. Even I have done 4 times the Deccan cliffhanger. So it is a 650-kilometer bike
But
race.
Dr. Patil,
Starting,
are you vegetarian? Are you vegetarian?
I,
Do you follow a vegetarian diet, or do you eat everything and it's just that you follow
Basically,
organic?
yeah, basically, I'm a vegetarian guy, but whenever I get an opportunity, so I go for the non-veg also. So it is not, but non-veg again, it's related to the eggs and chicken or some mutton or even fish, but
Okay.
not other this thing. I'm not going for that red meat, but I will
Right.
have so especially the fish and the eggs, something like that. Now, what
Right.
I was trying to tell you is this. Uh, there are certain the trainings and the certain practicing and a lot of things people do for the Ironman or even for the Ultraman, even for the Deccan Cliffhanger Ultra Bike Race. So that Deccan Cliffhanger is say around about 650 kilometers. You have to finish in 32 hours if you want to
Okay.
qualify at the RAM. So RAM, that is a race across America. That is a bike race of
Correct.
5,000 kilometers. If you want to
Correct.
qualify at the RAM, so that I was telling you within 32 hours. So
Right.
when I am on the road for the 32 hours, so I told you that I developed the technique. So in stamina, just I elaborate what is the stamina. So stamina is nothing but person's capacity to store, process, and use the energy as and when it is required. Now, suppose I have
Right.
to build my stamina. So suppose I'll be on the road for the 32 hours to finish that race. So in that 32 hours, how many calories I require? So those many calories, not no doubt they will be present in your body because in human body at a given time in the blood there are only 5 grams of a sugar present and almost 8 grams of a triglyceride are present. So at a given time, your blood can supply you say from the blood sugar say 20 calories, and from the serum triglycerides it will give say 70 calories. At the most, you can get the 100 calories at a given time from your blood. Then those 100 calories usually if I run for 1 kilometer at a speed of say 4 hours at a pace of say 4 or 5 minutes, so then I need those 100 calories. So whatever the in my blood, so that 100 calories will be sufficient to run only 1 kilometer or bike say around about 5 to 6 kilometer. But suppose I have to ride that 650 kilometer run a marathon. So I need to calculate how many calories will be required I have to take from the outside. So in a human body, again, the source of stamina is nothing but this steady and constant source of the energy should be proper. So in a blood, I told you serum triglyceride and the blood sugar. Then in our liver, that glycogen is stored for the 100 grams, up to 100 grams. And then in our muscles, the myogen, what is called the 400 grams. So the glycogen, liver glycogen, muscle glycogen, and sugar, that will supply you say around about 2000 calories. And the serum, yeah, that triglycerides are also present what we call in the muscles, and directly they you get the energy when you are running or when you are using those muscles. That muscle triglyceride gives you the direct energy, and that is a long lasting. So whatever the carbohydrate energy is present in the body will be sufficient for a what you can call as a run or ride of 2 hours. Suppose you want to be on the road for the more than 2 hours, you have to take something from the outside. So I
Right.
have then from the experience and from the Garmin data and other thing, I found that for per hour I need at least for swimming or the running or the biking, I need at least 50 to 60 calories. So if I am there, I have to be there on the road for say around about 30 hours, for example. So 30 into 60, I'll be requiring almost 18,000 calories. So my
Wow.
body will have only say around, I told you, the 2,000 to 4,000 calories. So remaining
Right.
calories I have to take from the outside. Now those guys, especially those who are a professional and certain other, so they usually go for what you can call as a gel. They go for the gel and certain other supplements. But
Right.
usually, so when I did this for the last 4 years, I'm doing and participating in that and finishing within say around about 26 to 30 hours, and depending upon the climate during that particular period. So I usually go for that either Amul milk or Varna lassi. So for the 26 hours, so that becomes very good source for me the calories. And I have found that if I take say around about say 50 ml of Amul milk and they say around about another 50 ml of Varna lassi, that will take me at least for the 1 hour comfortably. And then in this in Iron Man also, I usually see that I am on the liquid diet whenever I am doing that event, not any solid diet. So this stamina is nothing but your body's capability to use the energy very effectively, and I call it as the functional calories. And those functional
Mhm.
calories body can supply you if your blood parameters are good, your liver is good, then your muscles are good. So what that means, you should not drink, alcohol drinking, the smoking,
Right.
then
Right.
taking supplements. So these things does affect your stamina. So to
Right.
improve the stamina, you have to be again you have to develop that your dietary pattern properly. And instead of
Right.
having any what we call the fast food, junk food, or any supplements, if you concentrate more on what I call the compound sugars, so a lot of fibers. So especially carbs, we call them the micronutrients. So whatever the macronutrients we eat, so they should have a large supply of the fibers, and that is again everybody call it as a low glycemic diet. And then suppose I have seen that it is not proved, but what I have found, suppose I
Yeah.
start taking the gel, then my liver starts yeah, forgets how to convert glucose into glycogen or how to convert glycogen into glucose. So if the athlete is for a longer duration on certain type of the supplements or this type of the glycogens or any protein supplements, it does affect. Now, many of the athletes have seen, I mean, are of course the recreational athletes, those who are on that BCAA, so that leucine, isoleucine, valine, they usually take it for, and that I have seen that those who are taking those supplements of BCAA after running and other thing, recovery will be there, but it won't be sufficient to have what you can call as a natural recovery. So because see, this muscle recovery requires a lot of magnesium, and that magnesium supply you get from the leafy vegetables. if you eat that leafy vegetables, even raw also and half cooked, so that will give the sufficient quantity of magnesium, and you can do the back-to-back events. And I have successfully tried that. After my finishing this every year in the month of the October or November, this Sunday I'll be finishing Deccan Cliffhanger, and then next Sunday I'll be finishing Malaysia Ironman. And
Yeah, I mean,
successfully
in
I've done that.
October 2018. Yeah, I remember in 2018 when you
Yeah,
came to, in 2018, I was saying in
correct,
2018, you came to Chicago to run the Chicago
correct.
Marathon, and you did an Ironman this side and you did an Ironman that side on 2 Sundays before and
Correct,
after
correct. I did
Chicago
that. I did
Marathon,
that. I
right?
told you
So
last
that's
time
like two
also.
Ironman, and if I remember right, I think that was also the race where you got a PB in Chicago.
Correct.
You also got yourself a personal best timing, right? So it's interesting
Yeah,
that you talked about, natural food, and you don't seem
correct.
like you're very pro gels and supplements and
Yeah,
things like that. But in something like that, because this is not Olympics distance, this is like the full Ironman. How do you actually deal with, like, ultra events like that, and the quick recovery, because you literally had Sunday, you traveled, you
yeah,
came to Chicago, you ran the full marathon, you just kind of had a little bit of time, and then you went to Louisville to run, to take part in uh, the next Ironman. So I am curious to know, how did you how do you actually cope with
yeah.
recovery
See,
per se, right? So what is,
see,
you
there
talked
is
about
yeah.
magnesium, but what about rest, and what about, like, I mean, because these are like ultra distances and they're so quickly one after another.
Yeah. So that particular in this type of the events when you are doing, as I told earlier, that fitness pyramid technique I have developed, and I practice that fitness pyramid in day-to-day life also. So fitness pyramid is nothing but the first, as I told you now, you have to develop your stamina. Once you develop your stamina, you have to pay attention to the endurance. See, stamina is related with the blood, liver, and the muscle. So these organs,
Right.
suppose you are taking care of by proper diet, rest, and what you can call as a lifestyle, because rest is also important over there. So the stamina you have to develop first, and in that particular, whenever even today also, in pandemic condition, I have done those that 42 kilometer ka 7 virtual marathons in span of say 75 days, along with every day 15 kilometer, so that about
Wow.
275. So in the month of
Right.
July and August, in those 2 months taken together, my mileage was not less than 600 kilometer. Now
Right.
there has been a lot of restrictions for other things, but I was able to do this because the foundation of this recreational athlete lifestyle, the foundation need to be very sound, and that foundation is based on stamina. Then endurance is related to what we call as a your pulmonary and the cardiac fitness. So the pulmonary fitness is nothing but what we measure, what we call as the VO2 max. So in this case, see, for a normal person, the heart rate and respiration rate, if you see the ratio at a rest is 1:4. Now I am sitting, my pulse rate might be 50. My respiration rate might be say around about 15 or 12. So 12 to 15. So the ratio is usually 1:4. And the technique is like this: if you want to improve your endurance, you maintain this ratio even you are running. So suppose I am running at a pace of a 6 kilometer. So my this heart rate goes up to 160 or 150. So that time my respiration rate will be say around 40. And when that respiration is a 40, so that becomes say around about per second. You have to take Hawa inside or that inhale and exhale per second. And so then you should feel breathless. So here if you develop certain breathing techniques, so for that matter, instead of only using the diaphragm, because that diaphragm is mostly for the respiration, everybody uses the diaphragm. Instead of diaphragm, there are certain other abdominal muscles called as the external oblique. Suppose if you develop
Right.
that technique using the external oblique for the respiration, along with intercostal and certain muscles like trapezius and serratus anterior, also those muscles you were able to use for the respiration, then your VO2 max improves. So for me, endurance is nothing but person's capability to use minimum oxygen for the maximum production of the energy. And when you develop that particular type of the pulmonary fitness, your lactate threshold level, so the lactic
Right.
production is also reduced a lot. And once lactate production is reduced a lot, so your aerobic endurance increases a lot. So what I found, so endurance for me is of two types. One is called as the aerobic endurance. Second is anaerobic endurance. And aerobic endurance can be developed by pulmonary fitness. For anaerobic endurance development, you need to strengthen your certain muscles which are going to use for any type of the activity. So this is related to the endurance. The strength is also very important. The strength is nothing but for me or for any recreational athlete, the strength should be nothing but developing the muscles which are attached to the joints. Now, for any activity, for that matter, when I'm running, I'll be using my ankle joint, knee joint, or the hip joint, shoulder joint, back, neck. So I will pay attention to the joints first. So my ligaments, tendons, they should be very strong along with a good bone density, and then I will do certain workouts which will strengthen my group of the muscles. So that will give me the idea how to bear weight bearing capacity. So I have to develop the weight bearing technique also. And if you develop that weight bearing technique, your stride and your cadence will also increase a lot. So in a running, there are basically two units, what we call as the swing and lift or the swing. So it is called as. So in that, if you see, if I land once in a one stride, if I land, my ankle joint will get three times weight from the land or the from the soil. So now
Right.
my weight is
Right.
say around somewhere 80 to 90 kg. So when I had of one landing, my the whatever the impact I'm getting back from the soil or the any surface is almost 270 kg. Not that 270 kg impact your joints will be bearing. So in that, suppose I'm doing the weight distribution properly. So my weight is 80 to 90 kg. Out of that, suppose 40% weight I'm able to bear on my hip joints, 15% each on this knee joint, back, and the shoulder. So that becomes 45, and then 40 on the hip joint. So that becomes 85. Then only 10% weight will be on the ankle joint. So I won't suffer from any injury to the ankle joint. Then I won't suffer any injury to the knee also. So basically, most of the athletes, recreational athletes, when they do the lot of running or the exercises, so they had a lot of problem related to the ankle joint or certain muscle problem or the joint problems only because they are not able to bear the weight properly. So distribution of weight or weight bearing totally depends on the strength. And the strength of the muscles usually you have to take proteins. So roughly those who want to above 50, those who are above 50 or above 40, so they have to take irrespective of their whatever lifestyle and other things, 2 grams of proteins per kg body weight. Now, in my case, my weight is say 80. So I see that every day get at least 160 grams of the protein in my diet. Now, how to distribute that? Again, you ask the question, veg or non-veg. So you need a both types of the proteins. And I mentioned those leucine, isoleucine, valine, then linoleic, and the linoleic. There are the certain fatty acids also. So that particular supply, including amino acids, you get from the good combination of this type of what I told you, this plant as well as animal origin fats. And once you get that type of the supply, so in your diet, the carb percentage should not be more than 55%, at the most 60. The protein percentage should be say around at 25 to 30, and the fat should be 10 to 15. And I see that as far as the proteins are considered, half are from the plant, that is lot of pulses. So in that nowadays that green mood, whatever you get, so that is one of the very best source of the protein. And then certain mushrooms also that gives you the good supply. And if you can get the vegetables of that algal vegetables of the spirulina, so that
Right.
also is one of the
Yeah.
good supply.
So, so going to
So
the
this is
question
how
of,
you develop the
yes.
strength.
Right. So you're
So
talking about strength specifically. You've talked about the importance of keeping the joints healthy. You've also
yeah,
talked about the diet which is needed. What about like training? Right? Is there any kind of specific training that needs to be put into developing strength for the joints?
yeah. So as far as a training is considered, what is happening, I've seen in Mumbai also and at some other cities, those who are practicing for any marathon or for any sport event, what they do, so this many times there is a insufficient time given for warm up and cool down. And that
Right.
main set, so they start, see, the warm up has to be usually, suppose I'm doing 1 hour ka training, so the warm up has to be say round about 15 to 20 minutes, and the cool down has to be above the 10 to 15 minutes. So at least 30% time of my 1 hour training I have to give for warm up as well as cool down, and then remaining part should be my main sets. And then there has to be the cross training, then there has to be the variety of the training, so not one type of the training should be there. Then once when you are training, whatever the shoes, sometimes you have to learn to run barefoot also, barefoot running or walking, that also helps. So warm up, then main set depending upon your style. And my strategy is usually like this: if I am participating in any event, I'll see that 3 months before that event I'll be covering
Right.
10 times of the distance. Now for example, suppose I want to do the Mexico Ironman. Last year after finishing my Comrade, I wanted to do Mexico Ironman, and in between there was the Malaysia Ironman, also Deccan Cliffhanger. So I combined these three events together. And
Right.
in that, what happened? So Mexico Ironman was the last thing. So that was the last event. So
Right.
10 times of that distance means in swimming, you have to do that 4.2 kilometer swimming. So 10 times means I practice for the 40 kilometer of swimming in 3 months. Then running for 42 into 10 means 420 kilometers of running in 3 months. And then biking is 180 into 3, that is 10, means 1800 kilometers. So I planned my training in such a manner. So in a span of 3 months, I was able to finish 42 kilometers of swimming. The distance or the mileage is important. 1800 kilometer of biking and 420 kilometer of cycling, and that gives you the good foundation or sufficient. And then what I did, so that my in that 1800 kilometer of cycling, that 650 kilometer Deccan Cliffhanger event was considered part of the training. Then
Right.
my that Malaysia Ironman, that distance was considered as a part of my training. So, Are, so part of training is that's our dog Floyd. He was barking. So
He's interested in
part
what
of the
you're saying.
training,
Dr. Patil is interested in
yeah.
what you're saying.
So it was like this. So for me, the proper training is again, as I told you, uh,
Right.
I pay attention to the rest also. So recovery and rest is also very important. And that
Right.
recovery and rest, it doesn't mean that you do the workout for say around of 4 days and the 3 days you take rest. It shouldn't be that way. So the rest is related to, as I told you, warm up, main set, and the cool down. So every day you have to take a rest, and that rest begins with the cool down. Sometime if one day you are not any doing any exercises, I see that at least I do some walking of 10,000. That is again in the normal parameter of a particular person, whether you are fit or not. World Health Organization has recommended that a person has to walk at least 10,000 steps per day to keep himself or herself fit.
Right.
So whenever I'm
Yeah.
not doing any training activity, I call that walking that 10,000 steps as an active rest. And if you plan that way, so recovery will be the good, and whatever event you want to finish, it will be very easy to do that.
Right. So, just 1 second. I have. So, I've actually been following your journey for a while, and of course, I think for me, it's also. I also am, familiar with the woman behind your success, Vaishali. And she actually wrote a book to commemorate being the wife of an Iron Man. Confessions of the Wife of an Iron Man. I should actually encourage everybody to go and pick up a copy. It's a very, very funny book, and she refers to you as the is it the forgettable? No, the professor, absent-minded professor, right? That's what she's actually called you, right? But I think we'll just go back a little bit to your journey, where you actually talked about, how you went from being an overweight surgeon to being what you are right now. And I just have like a small surprise for you here today. I have a small surprise for you. I want to introduce you to Dr. Ajay. Would you like to tell everybody who Dr. Ajay is?
Yeah.
Hi, Ajay. How are you?
Good. I'm fine. Thank you. What about you?
Good.
Yeah.
So very nice surprise.
So Dr. Ajay, like I was saying, that behind every successful man is a woman, but it appears like behind every successful athlete who has really transformed is a best friend. And I would like you to just tell us the story a little bit about your what exactly happened. I mean, let me not spoil it for our viewers. Tell us a little bit about what exactly happened.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Actually, Dr. Anand means Anand for us. We are friends for more than 40 years now. I was abroad in 90s, and when I came back, I'm a cardiac surgeon. And when I came back, I just went and met him. And when I saw him, I was shocked to see him. He was, kind of a pot-bellied, 100+ kilos, sitting in a chair. I didn't find it good. And, we had not even crossed 40. And when I saw that, and I said, I have to pull up the socks if he's not. So I just caught him up and just took him to the gym. It's literally dragging him, him and Vaishali. I just took them, both of them, to the gym, got them enrolled also. And that's how, he went into fitness and all. He epitomized fitness now. And one thing which I remind of his journey and my association is Sachin Tendulkar's journey. Ajit Tendulkar, his elder brother, he took him at the age of 6 to Athrekar, and rest is history. So I never thought that I would be a part of history by my small gesture of taking him from the office chair to the gym. And you can see what a transformation it has been after that. It's all his dedication, his perseverance, his patience, all his. But only, like Ajit Tendulkar, I am also bit responsible for Anand's transformation.
True, very true, Gauri. Very true.
How is it a surprise for you, Dr. Anand Patil?
Yeah.
Sorry?
That is really great.
I was asking him, how is the surprise for him?
Yeah, I hope so. It's a surprise.
Yeah, I'm sure he must have been thinking that we are going to have somebody who I know, but well, I know Vaishali, so
yeah, correct.
By virtue of that, I know everybody who knows you. So I have to thank Vaishali for doing this for us. And thank you so much, Dr. Ajay, for joining us and telling us this wonderful story about how you actually pushed him to doing all the amazing things that he did. It was wonderful to have you on the show.
My pleasure. Entirely my pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And thank you for sharing this wonderful story with us.
Yes. Anand, take care. All the best. Bye.
Yeah. So yeah, I have to. Like I said, I have to thank Vaishali for that. A quick one. We have a rapid fire that we generally end the conversation with. But before we go to the rapid fire, I want to talk a little bit about Comrades. So you've done Comrades 8 times. If there was no lockdown, and if this was not a typical year, this would have been your 9th year of doing Comrades, right? What motivates you to keep going back again and again and again? Dr. Patil, I can't hear you.
I told you as such, for me, Comrade nowadays, it has been I look forward
Your voice is
to
breaking
run
off. I
Comrade
can't hear you
because
very
the
well.
whole track and then. Hello, 1 second.
Yeah. Yes, I can hear you. Yeah, sorry. So you were telling us about Comrades. So you were telling us about your interest in Comrades.
1 second. Gauri, can you hear me?
Yeah. I can hear you, Dr. Patil.
Yeah.
Yes, I hear you and I see you.
Correct. What has happened again? So there is a small incident. When I went for running the first Comrade, so I entered the Durban airport. I did my customs clearance, and when I was coming out, one of the custom official looked at me, and he asked me, "So why you come to Durban?" So I told him that I come here to run Comrades. So then he looked twice at me, looked at my weight and and he told me that it's a very difficult as far as your whole body structure is considered. It won't be possible for you to run or the finish the Comrade. So go back to your country, sit down at least 10 kg and come for the Comrades next year. So that was in long back in 2012. So I got worried. So that time, Dr. Ajit Oak and Pradeep Kadu and certain other, we were almost around the 10 guys running Comrade that year in 2012. So I was consoled by Dr. Ajit Oak and Pradeep Kadu, and they both told me that during our training you have done very nice thing. So don't believe these guys. So you just do whatever you want. And then that was one of the challenge which was given to me by that custom official. So what I did, so I ran this Comrade with my full capacity, and I was able to finish in 10 hours, 17 or 18 minutes. And I was number 2, that is second number in whole of those 12 our Indians. And so then I developed somehow liking to this Comrade. And so that is why every year I'm just, it has become one of the, every year to go. Then even that, usually it is in the last week, last Sunday of May. And so then when you practice and then do that for the Comrades for say around 3 to 4 months, especially in the month of February, we start practicing for the Comrade or the preparing for the Comrades. So that February to May. So these 4 months are very special in my, day-to-day activities. And every year I look forward Comrade because of that. And basically nowadays Vaishali is accompanying me every year. So she is coming. And what happened last 2 years, the one Sunday before Comrade, there is a Durban Ironman race also. Unfortunately, last year I have registered for the boat, but I met with an accident of one bike, my bike accident, and because of that I was not able to do the swimming properly. So I couldn't participate in the Durban Ironman, but I finished last year Durban Comrades also. So henceforward again, I'll be doing my Ironman first this Sunday, and the next Sunday I'll be doing again. My registration has been extended for the 2021, so that will be my first back-to-back Ironman and the Comrade. So in
Wow.
2017, it happened not with the Ironman, but it happened with the Australia Ultraman. So after
Right.
finishing Ultraman Australia, within 15 days I ran Comrade, and that too with a good timing. So that is how the Comrade has been. Why I think Comrade is one of the historical event, and there are certain memories of Mahatma Gandhi also. So because that runs between Durban and Pietersmaritzburg. So Pietersmaritzburg is a station where Gandhiji was thrown out of the
Train.
from the plane. So
Yeah.
that 90-kilometer straight, and it is a the climate and that mahol, and at every the 100 meter or the you can say the meter, so both the sides of the road are full of the cheerleaders. I mean, not in that cheer girls, but everybody is cheering you, and then that feel good factor, and
Yeah.
that satisfaction also. Once you finish that 90-kilometer, the satisfaction that is sufficient for the next 1 year to do a lot
Yeah.
of other activities also.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Well,
sense
I
of
think,
achievement you get when you finish a Comrade.
yeah. I think that's probably true for all of the, like, big races, big events. They're very festive. The atmosphere is
Correct.
really magical. And I think a lot of runners are kind of missing that, and they're waiting to sort of come back to real racing, so that they can actually do that. And
Correct.
it's amazing that you've actually stayed motivated, you've continued to train, you're continuing to do your distances, your events, staying fit, and we've got some really good insights into, what athletes actually need to work on in terms of recovery, strength, stamina, etc. So I think it's been a really interesting chat. I'm now,
Correct.
going to just have a very quick round of questions and answers for you.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
so, like I said, we have, a book written, Confessions of the Iron Man Wife. And the author of this book was Vaishali Patil, who is your wife. And she has a lot of funny things to say about you. And some of these questions are actually based on that. So
Oh.
the first thing, my first question is, for which event did you miss Ganpati celebrations in your home?
Okay, so that was a Bhutan Dragon, this Bhutan Dragon race. That was in 2015. So everybody,
Okay.
everybody was,
Yeah. So now the whole world knows that you decided to not come back home after an event, and you were not there for Ganpati, and
yeah,
it's like everybody knows that you were not there.
yeah.
You already told us that you forgot your wetsuit for your triathlon. It was actually one of my questions. But please tell me, at which race did you forget to check in your bicycle after the event?
That was, I think, in Zurich Ironman in Switzerland. So that Abi Emirat, they were calling her like almost 40, 50 calls they did to her. And somehow I was lucky to get back that bike along with my jacket also. Jacket was lying on that bike case. So those guys just to remove that lock of the bike, put that jacket inside, again they locked it, put the in the cargo that box was put, and I was lucky enough to get to both the things. And thanks to Vaishali, because of her only I was able to get it back.
Um, what is your favorite activity from the 3 triathlon events that you do? Swimming, running, and cycling. Which of the 3 is your favorite?
So of course it is running because of the Comrade. So that, because in Comrade we are running 90-kilometer. Here you have to run only 42 kilometers. So I think running here, because I have seen that my timing in comparison with other athletes is always better in a running. Because after on a tiring legs of the biking, so after 180 kilometer running 42 kilometer. So that time by that running style or the running technique which we have developed for the Comrade, it helps a lot. And that same thing has helped me in Ultraman also in Brisbane at Nusa. So it helped me over there also. So that is why I like running a lot. And especially for me, I had gone to the Sweden for that Kalmar Ironman, and I was able to finish that Kalmar Ironman in 13 hours. And in that, you won't believe my running and this run section. I was able to finish almost in 4 hours, 4 hours, 1 minute, or the 2 minutes. And my bike, because of the wind and other things, timing was more, but that I was able to compensate because of my run. And we were there almost around about in my age category. That time I was belonging in that 51 to 55, 50, that age
Yeah.
category. And because
Yeah.
of that, that year, my world rank was almost 150, and country rank was 1. So the running
Right.
has helped me a lot. So that's why I love
Right.
running.
Yeah. Um, of the things that you do, because you are still a full-time surgeon, you're still an entrepreneur, and you're training for Ironmans, etc. How many hours a week do you actually dedicate to your training? How many hours do you
Gauriji,
put into your
I'll just,
training?
yeah, yeah, Gauriji, as I told you, because of the fitness pyramid, many of the times at present, I don't require training also. I'll give one example. Once, when I did my first Comrade in 2012, my total mileage from the February to May was almost 1,000 kilometers. Then the first that Ironman I participated in South Africa. In South Africa, I did that. That time, my total mileage was almost cycling and everything has gone up to the 2,000 kilometers. But of the late, so this last year when I did my Comrades, so because of the accident or other things, I have not practiced even 100 kilometers. But I was able to finish the Comrades with regular timing. So it has not taken more or less also. So because of the fitness pyramid, what has happened? The training, again, I want to make a difference between the two things: training and the practice. So training is nothing but acquiring certain skills or the techniques or the tactics to finish any race. And what is the practice? The practice is, developing this endurance, the stamina, or the strength, or the power, or the speed. It is like that. So nowadays, uh, those who are, so first timers, those who want to do that, my simple formula is that 10 times of the distance, and usually weekly 10 hours training is more than enough for the Ironman. And weekly, say around about 6 to 8 hours training is more than for doing any major marathon with a good
Yeah,
timing.
that's fantastic. My last question for you, Dr. Patil, is what activity or what race or what event are you completely forbidden to do, forbidden by Vaishali, your wife? What event has your wife completely forbidden you from doing? And I need the honest answer here. Otherwise, I won't give you the hamper.
So as as such, permission what she loves or the want to give. So we both have planned this year to go to the Lake Placid, and we were looking forward to do the Lake Placid Ironman this year, but unfortunately because of the pandemic we couldn't go. And at the same time, she is much more looking towards be with me for the Comrades. And I consider myself lucky because always whenever she is with me for the Comrades, my timing is getting improved year by year.
Fantastic. Fantastic. That's great, Dr. Patil. It's been
Yeah.
an amazing conversation.
Thank
We've
you.
learned so much from your time. Thank you
Yeah,
so
but
much
Gauriji,
for.
I want to mention one thing over here. But I just want to mention one thing over here. So those who have finished all those 7 world majors in our country, so
Yeah.
almost half of them are able to do because of you. And on all
Thank
of them,
you.
I thank you and looking forward for that also. And as you said that you are enthusiast, so I really congratulate for your all these efforts and your service to our recreational athlete community,
Thank you
because there
so
are the
much,
very
Dr.
few
Patil.
who always help, guide, and accommodate the people like me. And then you are one of them. And so I really feel blessed also to know you. And I wish you all the best for your. And then you should keep doing all such activities for us also. So
Yes,
looking forward for that.
absolutely. But thank you so much for all your kind words. I really appreciate, everything that you've said. It's been lovely chatting with you, and a big thank you for Vaishali for facilitating everything. And I'm looking forward to seeing you at one of the races.
Correct, correct. Definitely.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Good night, and thank
thank
you
you.
everybody for joining
Bye.
us. We'll see you next week. Next week is Diwali, but we are still going to be here with a guest who's going to be talking about running. And we'll see you next week again. Good night then. Have a good weekend, everybody.
Thank you.